Good evening, everyone. So, myself, Davinder Kaur. I am from IIT Roorkee, India. So, going to talk about FSMA-based magnetoelectric heterostructure for MEMS applications. We have been working on these FSMA materials since more than a decade. And yeah, next, please. The next slide. So in this talk, I'm going to discuss about our current ongoing activities on paramagnetic shape memory materials, which are when combined with the strong piezoelectrics in such a way that they can give rise to magnetoelectric composites with interesting properties and that are being applied in the next generation 4 logic state memory devices, magnetic field sensing, resonators, and vibration damping device useful for the MEMS applications. So next, please. So this is our IIT Roorkee in India, and the building was established in the year 1847 and was called as James Thomson Building, established by the Britishers when they were ruling India. Yeah, next please. So this is our functional nanomaterials research lab and has been equipped with all the instruments under one roof, and where we are able to carry out the research on these magnetic materials. Yeah, next please. Yes. So this is the DC and RF magnetron sputtering system, and which has been used to carry out the thin film deposition for this work. Yeah, next please. And this is a complete electrical characterization system with a closed cycle helium cryocooler in the temperature range of 35 Kelvin to 650 Kelvin with the semiconductor 4200 characterization system and all the key instruments to measure the electrical properties of the system. And this is a dielectric and ferroelectric setup. Radiant one. Yeah, next please. And this is a VSM with a superconducting magnet going up to plus minus 5 Tesla, and it was used to carry out the magnetic measurements. Yeah, next please. So this is a nano indenter with a hot stage, and it has been used to measure the mechanical properties of these heterostructures. Yeah, next please. Yes, so here I'm going to focus our work on two types of magnetoelectric heterostructure. One was FSMA and aluminum nitride based silicon over the silicon wafer. Then the second one was FSMA over then PZT and the silicon heterostructure. Yeah, next please. So these are the all optimized parameters over the 2-inch silicon wafer for FSMA PZT heterostructures. Yeah, next please. So these are the important properties which for these films, like the piezoelectric coefficient, the residual stress, dielectric constant, tunability, loss, leakage current density was 10 to the minus 6 ampere per centimeter square, corrosive field 67.85. These are the best optimized parameters for these PZT piezoelectric thin films over the 2-inch silicon wafer. Yeah, next please. Then we are also doing the work on aluminum nitride piezo thin films, and which shows piezo coefficient of 5.24 picometer per volt, and resistance of greater than, yeah, it was 20 mega ohm, and leakage current density was also 10 to the power minus 8 ampere per centimeter square, and all the other parameters. So next please. So these are the films deposited over the 2-inch wafer. The film seems to be very uniform, and yeah, because of the deposition constraint, we have been able to produce these films on over 2-inch wafer. Otherwise, if we could have a bigger heater, then we can go for even the 4-inch or 6-inch geometry. Yeah, next please. So these are the XRD and the FSM characteristics of these FSMA PZT heterostructure. We have been see this is the FSMA, which nickel manganese indium has been used for this purpose, which is a magnetic material, ferromagnetic shape memory alloy. And these are the cross-sectional FSM, and these are the XRD of the combined heterostructure. So this is a TEM picture of this heterostructure. We have been able to even see the planes over with this FSMA PZT heterostructure, like one can see. And then the value of the distance between the interplanar distance matches perfectly well with the theoretically calculated values. Yeah, next please. So the very first work which we did it was the establishment of the direct and converse magnetoelectric coupling in these heterostructures. So that was probed by registering the magnetization response of the heterostructure at different polarization states of PZT, then measuring the direct magnetoelectric coefficient at different temperature, at different bias magnetic field and different frequencies of AC magnetic field. And then we have also evaluated the converse magnetoelectric coefficient at room temperature. The value of a joint DME coefficient was observed to be 894 millivolt per centimeter Ørsted, and the CME coefficient was found to be 2.7 into 10 to the power minus 5 Siemens per meter at room temperature. Then the tuning of the DME coupling using a comprehensive set of variables such as magnetic field and temperature was also demonstrated successfully. Yeah, next please. So these are the curves of dielectric constant versus frequency and dielectric constant versus temperature, and P loops at different values of temperature and dielectric constant versus electric field. So we used to see a hum at around in the measurement of dielectric constant versus temperature, which was at a temperature near to the martensite phase transformation of FSMA, nickel magnesium. Now, so that shows that around that temperature, there was a change in the dielectric constant of the piezo layer. And as a result, due to that phase transformation, we believe that the voltage has been induced in the adjacent PZT layer, and the strain was, which was developed in FSMA, get transferred to the PZT layer, which result in the responsible for the change in the dielectric constant. The ferroelectric loop, P loop, dielectric, and the voltage modulated magnetic anisotropy measurements were executed in plane and out of plane of the functional magnetic material, these bilayer heterostructure. Yeah, next please. So then we have also carried out the measurements of P loop at magnetic field 0 Tesla, 0.5 Tesla along parallel to the axis, perpendicular to the axis, and then the dielectric configuration versus magnetic field and the dielectric constant versus electric field. So gain of approximately 16 coulomb per centimeter square in maximum polarization and 12% in tunability, they were observed along an easy magnetic axis of FSMA material. Next, please. So here we have tried to see the MH loop at various values of applied voltage. Like we have started with 0 kilovolt, 30 kilovolt, and 60 kilovolt, and so on. However, I'm showing only the 3 curves, but we did the several measurements with several applied voltages. And we have been able to see the shift in the MH loop with the applied voltage that established that there is a magnetoelectric coupling between the our piezoelectric layer and the magnetic layer. Then we are also able to see the butterfly loop of this normalized magnetization versus electric field, which is an evidence of the strain character of the CME coupling. Because the coupling could be either strain mediated or charge mediated, or it could be both strain plus charge. When we used to observe, even in the literature, that whenever this butterfly curve has been observed, then that is a significant, or it's an evidence that the coupling is strain mediated. Then the coaction of dissimilar carrier concentration between high symmetric austenite cubic phase and the low symmetric martensite phase of ferromagnetic shape memory alloy and martensite transformation induced magnetization change in FSMA cause an electric field modulated Hall resistivity, and a change of 42% Hall resistivity was observed at 60 kilovolt per centimeter electric field and 0.2 Tesla magnetic field at temperature of 270 Kelvin. Yeah, next please. Yeah, then we have also tried to see the thickness dependent crossover from the change in the nature of the coupling in these heterostructures. So for that, many heterostructures they were made, and I'm showing the result for these three, in which the FM layer 200 nanometer and then FM and FE layer, they are of various thickness they were chosen. And what we have seen that when they were of sufficient thickness, then we are able to see the strain mediated coupling, and when the thickness was very small, then we are getting only the charge mediated coupling, hovering between both strain plus charge. The reason was that when the thickness of this FSMA was found to be less than some critical thickness, then the Martin-Stick phase transformation is not complete. And because of that, there won't be a complete transfer of the strain from FSMA layer to the piezo layer, and the coupling between them is not due to strain, it is only due to the charge. So these curves they show, and the results are shown in this diagram. So next, please. Yeah. In another work, we have tried to observe the four logic state of tunneling electromagnetoresistance in this heterostructure. So in this heterostructure, what we have made, it was made up of two different ferromagnetic chip memory alloy, nickel manganese antimony and nickel manganese and indium. And in between, there was a layer of strontium titanate dielectric layer of 2 nanometer and piezo layer of 3 nanometer. And then we have also AFM layer, antiferromagnetic chromium of 60 nanometer. So this device, it was fabricated by using, again, by the magnetron sputtering technique, and this shows the cross-sectional FSM image of the layers. Yeah, next, please. So this is a kind of memory device structure. Then we have also shown that using PFM, that the piezo layer of 3 nanometer is working very fine and is showing the piezo characteristics. It's still piezoelectric at this much of thickness. Yeah, next, please. Then we have tried to measure the tunneling electroresistance, which is defined like this. And we have observed the experimental observation, IV curve at upward polarization and downward polarization. Upward polarization is like -2 volt pulse was given while recording IV curve. And for the downward polarization, this +2 volt pulse was given during the measurements. And then here it is shown that so a large change has been observed in this thing. So in this case, the dielectric layer was removed, strontium titanate was removed, and we have been able to see the change, but that wasn't that prominent like here. So we believe that this dielectric layer, it's try to improve the interfacial characteristics and plays a major role in this device for giving a large change in the TER value. So a TER value, it increases from 71% to 190% on the insertion of STO layer. Repetitive switching between the two resistance state, it was checked up to 120 cycle. That was a retention or retentivity feature. It presents that, okay, even after doing the 120 cycles, we were getting the same, more or less the similar type of resistance. Yeah, next, please. Then we have measured the experimental observation of four logic state, in which the magnetoresistance was measured in the magnetic field. It was varied from 0 to 2K. And what we have seen, for one for the upward polarization, then another for the downward polarization. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 states they were observed experimentally. So from this, the tunnel electromagnetoresistance, which was calculated during via this formula, it was calculated, and this ratio was found to be 2.24. But this ratio is still less, and we are trying to improve this ratio further. But the good point is that we have been able to see the fourth state in this FSMA-based heterostructure. Yeah, next, please. So this is a device, and so this complete thing is here, it was measured using this VSM, and the probe was inserted inside this magnetoresistance probe. And then this was a superconducting magnet. Next, please. So then another work which we did it with this FSMA based structure, it was a DC magnetic field sensing, for which we have made a bilayer, tri-layer and 4-layer of this FSMA PZT, and we have measured the alpha, that is a coupling coefficient versus the changing magnetic field, and found that it remains linear up to certain value of field. Let's say here it's 0.3 and then it becomes non-linear. So the more, I mean, the value of field, it's basically the point up to which it is linear is useful for the magnetic sensing operation. And what we have seen that when we go from bilayer to tri-layer, the value of coupling coefficient increases, but as we go to the 4-layer, the coupling coefficient decreases. The reason we attribute is that when we go to the tri-layer, okay, the configuration was, yes, we were able to get the better. The magneto-electric coupling is an interface phenomena and arises from the strain transfer. So strain transfer was better in the tri-layer case compared to bilayer. But as we go to the 4-layer, the number of layers increases and the leakage current density, it also increases. And maybe because of due to the increase in the leakage, or our interface was not so pure. So because of that, there was a reduction in the value of alpha in this case. Yeah, next please. Then, okay, this was explained during with the leakage current behavior. Then we have tried to measure or compare our results with the existing literature, and our things of alpha, it comes out to be 2010, and the highest reported value is 3200 in PZT nickel case. However, in other cases, if we compare it, then our results were quite better and promising. Yes, next please. And then the AC magnetic field sensing was also done by applying the AC magnetic field, and the various parameters for this sensor was calculated, like sensitivity, Pearson coefficient. Next please. Hysteresis, inaccuracy by applying these, using these formulas. Next please. And we have, and these are the reported values. 0.9993 is the Pearson coefficient. Sensitivity comes out to be 1.18, inaccuracy 1.755, and hysteresis 1.46. So that has been compared with the literature values, and the results were okay, quite promising. So this is a conclusion of the magnetic field sensing sensor, and these are the reported alpha values. Yeah, next please. One more work I would like to show with this our FSMA based spectrostructure, that is with the aluminum nitride things. Yeah, I think how much time is left?
Yes, ma'am. You can go ahead. No problem.
Okay.
Because one speaker was not there, so you can continue.
Okay. Okay, so this is aluminum nitride thing, and so here again we used to get the dielectric constant versus temperature. It was plotted, and again similar to like the PZT case, we got a hum, and which shows that the two layers are coupled. Yeah, this is a XRD and the XPS image of this structural characterization of this structure. Yeah, next please. So here we have tried to see the dielectric constant change versus a magnetic field. And we have seen that, and then the value of alpha versus H. So alpha was found to be higher in this case, that coupling coefficient, that is a magnetic field induced strain in FSMA layer due to magnetization in transferred aluminum nitride layer through the interface, and it produced a magnetoelectric voltage in aluminum nitride FSMA head structure. The strain measured was higher as compared to our previous work with the PZT thing. Yeah, next please. So here then the cantilevers, they were fabricated, and in order to do the measurements with the magnetostriction coefficient of FSMA cantilevers. Yeah, next. So here we have tried to measure the, this is piezoelectric coefficient measurement at D33, and which was found to be 4.23 picometer per volt in this case. And FSMA was deposited over the silicon cantilevers in order to measure the magnetostriction coefficient by using the laser Doppler method, and the coefficient was observed to be 1260 ppm for 1200 arrested magnetic field. Yeah, and then this MH loop shows that the heterostructure is still ferromagnetic in nature. Then we have tried to make a device, acoustic wave resonator. That was a bulk acoustic wave resonator. And this is a device, and the characteristics were measured. And it resonates at a frequency of 4.2 gigahertz. And this is a curve which has been seen through vector network analyzer. Yeah, next please. So this is showing the fundamental and the other harmonics of this resonator. S11 versus frequency was plotted for aluminum nitride FSMA heterostructure in the frequency range of 0 to 18 gigahertz. And the resonant frequency comes out to be 4.22 gigahertz. And the prominent feature of this work is that this resonant frequency, it changes with the application of magnetic field. And so it was a magnetic field tunable piezo resonator. Yeah, next please. So then we have also tried to do some software modulation in this work, and this advanced design system software was used to extract the parameters of R, C, RM, and IM, and at 0 magnetic field and at 1200 arrested magnetic field. And this is a experimental curve and calculated things from this software, and they matches quite well. So a large variation of 350 megahertz was obtained for a field strength of 1200 arrested. The frequency shift, which we have seen in this piezo resonator, for 1200, it was a 350 megahertz. So a maximum acoustic velocity of 7,350 meter per second, it was observed at 1500 arrested. Yeah, next please. So these are my PhD students and the group with ongoing and the completed one. I'm thankful to them because all this work, it was most of the work, this was done by them. Yeah, next please. And apart from it, we also have many collaborators. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Davinder Kaur. It was nice having your presentation. I have seen your laboratory, the institute, your students.
Yeah.
Now you are operating like work from home, right? Or going to the university?
This is a no, this is Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee. Like we have 7 premium institute in IIT.
Okay.
IIT in India. So this is one of them.
Okay. Okay, so any questions you may ask Dr. Davinder Kaur?
Yeah, can I ask myself?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You had a nice talk. First of all, let me congratulate, and then I could able to discuss with my questions. One question I have: when you told that small thickness will have charge mediated and the large thickness will be strain mediated, but generally when you reduce the size of any film, then generally the strain is increasing.
Then
okay, so strain generally increases. So how could you differentiate between the strain and charge over here when you
no. Yeah, you're right. Right, I will tell you. You know, when we say that when we reduce the thickness of the film over to the substrate, the strain increases. That strain is due to the change in the lattice parameter of a substrate and a film. So when the thickness is very small, that change is enhanced. But here the strain which we are talking of is not between the substrate and the film, it is between the ferromagnetic layer and the ferroelectric layer. And this strain, it is actually developed in the shape memory alloy due to the Martinstick phase transformation. Because this is a special quality of FSMA material that they have been able to hold a strain of 8% or 10%. And that's why they are used as a shape memory actuators. So that strain, when this is because the material, when it undergoes from low temperature Martensite phase to high temperature austenite phase, the strain is developed. So we are talking of that strain. And that strain, when it is sufficiently coupled with the piezo layer, the strain get transferred to that piezo layer. And because of that, we are getting the coupling between the piezo layer and our this magnetic layer.
When thickness is small, I got it. When
Got it?
thickness is small, the piezoelectric coupling is present.
Yes. Then the grain size is also small, and grain size is small, then it is unable for the FSMA to complete the Martinstick phase transformation in the reverse cycle. So because of that incomplete phase transformation, the strain generated will also be very less.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Vivek, you was about to ask some questions.
Yes. Dr. Gaur, thank you very much for your nice presentation. And I would like to ask one query over there. You have selected a particular frequency for the ferroelectric measurement. Is it why you selected a particular frequency for the PE loop analysis?
For PE loop.
Yeah.
Which frequency you are talking of?
Yeah, I think so. That was in 3 kilohertz around you were selected for the polarization versus electric field graph.
Yeah, so actually we have taken the measurements and in the complete full spectrum of the frequency range varying from kilohertz to megahertz, and where the dielectric loss was minimum and we are getting the better things. So we fixed up that, and I don't think there is a certain range where the characteristics are optimized, and so for that we can go for that. We can take that, select that range, and then we can measure that P loop. But if you're talking of frequency here in this case, so are you talking of frequency in this case? This is our piezo resonator.
No. I'm talking.
No. You are talking of the journal measurements of FM-FE layer, and in that case we have taken 3 kilohertz or so, because in that case we were getting the maximum value of dielectric constant and the minimum loss.
Okay, thank you very much.